In this Photoshop Elements tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can colour pop images so that only a particular part of it is shown in colour and the rest of it is desaturated, making a very striking effect. And we're going to be working on this image here, and we should end up with something that looks a bit more like this. So as you can see, we've just colour popped the model in the scene, and that really draws the eye in. So I'll just head back to the original start image. You'll find this on your disk or download, and you can use this if you don't have a good image to work on yourself. And the first thing that we're going to do is head over to the layers panel. So if you can't see your layers, head up to window and make sure layers is ticked. Mine already is, and it's on the right hand side here. So we can see we've got our layers here, just the background layer at the moment. And we're going to click on the create new fill or adjustment layer icon and choose hue saturation from the menu. This will create a new adjustment layer which we can see above the background layer there. And all we're going to do here is drag saturation all the way to -100 to completely drain any colour from the image. Now we're actually done with this panel, so I can just close that down, and now we're going to head over to the toolbox and grab the brush tool. And in the tool options, what we want to do is set the opacity to about 70%, and then I'm going to click on brush settings and set the hardness to 80% as well, so it's not a totally hard-edged brush. Now I'm going to use the square bracket keys on the keyboard to resize the brush. So you can see that they change the size there really quickly, and that's a handy little tip to do, is use the square bracket keys just to resize your brush. And I'm going to hit D followed by X on the keyboard for a black foreground colour. And we're going to start painting onto this layer mask of the hue saturation adjustment layer. So as I start to paint over this area, we are painting onto the layer mask. So we can see here we're painting black onto that layer mask, revealing the colour in the background layer below. So another thing that I'm going to do is hit Control or Command and plus just a few times to zoom in, and use the spacebar for the hand tool to move around. And I'm just going to start to paint over the entire portion of this shot, being careful not to go over the edges. But if you do go over the edge, just like I have here, you can see that I've revealed some of the colour that I don't want, so I'll hit X on the keyboard for a white foreground colour and just paint back over that to mask it back off, because we just want the colour coming through from the model and the suitcase as well that she's holding. So again, just holding the spacebar down to bring up the hand tool so we can move around, because ideally we want to be quite zoomed in so we can see exactly what we're doing here. And then again, using the square bracket keys to choose a smaller brush when we want to get into more sort of detailed areas like the edge of the dress here. Now if you're struggling to see which areas you've painted over, you can actually hit the / key on the keyboard, and that will give you this red overlay, and that will just make it a bit easier to see the parts that you've missed. So this is going to take a little bit of time to finish off. You can see I've probably done about half the model here, so I'll come back to you in just a second when I've got a bit further down the road. Okay, so I've done a pretty rough and ready job, and I'm just going to toggle the Ruby Lith on and off with the / key so you can see how that's looking. And it's worth at this point just zooming back in and using a white brush colour again just to tidy up any edges, because we just want the colour to appear where the model is. So we can see we've got some green fringes around here that we should paint over. And it's just worth taking the time to make sure that this looks as good as possible, so you can spend a lot more time than I'm doing here. I'm just doing a quick job to show you what can be done. And then for one final dramatic boost, what I'm going to do is head back over to the layers panel and click on the create new fill adjustment layer once more, and this time choose levels from the list. And now we can start to boost the contrast. So I'll just drag in the black slider a little and the white slider just to boost the contrast. And if I close that panel down and turn it off and on, you can see that's just making those blacks a little bit richer and making it even more striking. So that's everything you need to know on how to colour pop an image. So try it out on our start image and also your own pictures too.